the U.S. National Oral Health Alliance convened the 4th Leadership Colloquium in New Orleans. This time the topic was metrics for improving oral health. Again, over 100 professionals from around the country came together seeking common ground.
Folks with a journalism background, corporate philanthropy, a former state senator.
We have it all at this table, and I challenge any other table to say that they're more diverse than this table.
They do a good job of mixing everybody up. I was at one table that had 3 private practitioners, and so the nonprofits there were going, wow, y'all really think like this.
If this table is reflective of the breadth of perspectives, we're in for a good 2 days of meetings.
A real amazing group of folks.
This time the common ground was metrics.
Well, I think metrics are in common usage. It's a way of collecting data about something and deciding it's a measurement of how you're doing.
They tell you, who's at risk, who's suffering, who's not, who's doing well.
What are you trying to change? How do you know that that change is an improvement? And then how are you going to measure it?
Just defining metrics can be somewhat challenging.
Our group concluded that metrics are a compelling, necessary evil.
One participant said that our metrics are a guiding light.
Our table decided that the metrics are necessary, but not necessarily evil.
At the end of the day, really the data is important to tell our story.
A comment that one of our participants, Marty, made, and he said we can't improve without measuring what we're trying to change.
I want to learn more about metrics so that I can answer the very basic question of what is it that I don't know but that I want to know, and how do I apply those metrics to my day-to-day life, but also in my work as an advocate for oral health.
As in past colloquia, table discussions led the way. It's at the table where participants interact and begin to see how other partners see the issue.
I've really learned a lot looking beyond our state boundaries and seeing what our friends in Ohio are doing.
What's the data that we use to justify that down the road?
And the basis for me being here right now is I'm beginning to be called to analyze a couple of programs that have statewide significance.
The second day of every colloquium is where pen meets paper. Each table must write down 3 unifying messages and mark the most important one.
Data needs to assess cost and quality.
Messaging is different for different audiences.
As tables post their unifying messages on the wall, common themes around metrics for oral health and common ground begin to emerge.
Out of these 3, which one gets the gold star?
I just can't decide.
Who would like to go first?
Always ask, what are you trying to change? How do you know if change is an improvement? Because change in and of itself isn't necessarily good. And then how do you measure that change?
We need a system that collects data across all age groups.
Dental metrics are effective when they connect to a story that resonates with all levels of stakeholders.
First, use metrics to articulate oral health disparities and target interventions.
We also like the one over here from table 5. They didn't give it a dot, but we like their number 2.
Data for advocacy is not necessarily the same as data for decision making, and I'd even say data for advocacy and funding.
Clear universal outcomes are essential in defining optimal oral health and are better known and more influential when captured in a systemic measurement process.
Can you say that again, please?
No.
So after 2 days of discussing metrics, what do people leave with?
One of the things I want to get out of the colloquiums is to stay informed, stay cutting edge on where our profession's headed, and to also know what is in other people's minds.
All these issues, we're all dealing with the medical-dental collaboration, the public health infrastructure, metrics, they're all integral to the oral health program. So anything I can learn here, I can bring back and try to strengthen my program.
I'm coming away with a whole new perspective and some new ideas, and I'm going to put them into play when I get home.
Welcome, welcome.